Mountains, huh?
Hey,
Hey, John. We're going to play our
hey,
favorite
Chuck,
game,
what's going on? Huh?
okay? One of these two people, and you guys don't give it away with your faces, one of these two people has a realistic fear of mountains, and the other one has no fear of the entity living inside his body that's named Stanley.
Well, seeing as how Oliver is actually three raccoons or 10,000 spiders in a trench coat, I'm going to say that the mountain guy is JR and the alien entity is Oliver.
So before we reveal, I want to be clear. I apologize that I did not give the mountain a specific name, even though I gave a name for the entity, because I don't know which mountain specifically. So just bearing that in mind. So, guys, how did John do? And Oliver, I understand Stanley has an anniversary coming up.
Stanley does have an anniversary coming up in apparently 2 weeks. I thought it was longer, but time.
You may want to explain Stanley for anyone who might be listening.
Oh,
Or,
right.
or why
Okay.
your anniversaries are on a weekly basis.
Yes. Uh, so Stanley is the name I gave to my kidney transplant. So I am possibly getting close to one of the people who's had one kidney transplant for the longest time. I don't
Ooh.
know if the other people, so in 2 weeks, it'll be 48 years.
You have to go. Come on, come on, come on.
That's a lot,
That is a lot.
considering you're only
And
30.
exactly, yes. And, um, and as far as I know, about 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I um, I found out that there were people who had their transplant for 50 years. So I don't know if they're still alive.
But Oliver's going to make sure they're not. He's got a plan.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's Stanley
He's
has
going to
said,
manifest that opportunity.
yes. Stanley has said we have to get to that benchmark. So
It's a good
So
benchmark to get to.
yes. So
it's
so
true.
Jr. Any non-original parts? Any
You're
audio?
muted.
You're muted.
JR insists he's not muted and we're merely deaf. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because he does not look muted here on the
Right.
dashboard. So it's very, very odd.
Yeah.
And his mic was working until I hit record. He is definitely not going to be contributing to the conversation that way.
It's going to be a little difficult. I'll have to use Stanley's ears to hear him read then.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Now
now
we
we can
Yes.
hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason it switched to phone microphone instead of computer microphone.
And you're alone in the house, but something switched.
I am alone in the house, yeah, but something
That
for
is
some
very
reason it
comforting.
switched to I think it's the government is messing with me right now through my phone. So they knew I was
They're
on a
messing with
they
everybody.
knew I was on a podcast and they were like, we're going to now mess with him so that he all of a
Or
sudden panics.
since your wife happens to have an alibi and keys to the house.
She could work for the government too, so
Yeah.
maybe she secretly works for the government and is planning to somehow. And she knew Oliver was going to be on here, and he was planning to kill people with kidneys. So this was a whole secret plan.
Yeah, so
Okay.
not only that, John. I'm going to say Jr. because there are two Johns. Uh, they tell me it was a kidney transplant.
What did they actually put in you is
Oh,
the question.
right.
And does it
So,
work for the government? Does Stanley work for the government?
well, that's something I have kind of wondered. I actually think he works for elder beings, but government, elder beings, Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. At the moment, I'm thinking the elder beings are a little bit on the safer side. You know what they have in mind, and you know what their long-term plans are ultimately. The guys
Yes,
that are running things, Stanley or otherwise, not so much.
that is true.
Yeah, you might be safer off. But yeah, to answer your question, I do all have all my original parts because I don't climb mountains. This is my goal. Or get in anywhere, the only thing I do with heights is maybe go on our rooftop here in Chicago, which is about 29 stories. So I will go up there, but I'm usually staying away from the edges as much as possible. Otherwise, I don't deal with heights. Or I'll fly in an airplane because I figure if that crashes, well, I won't remember when it crashed.
That is certainly higher than 29 stories, and I'm trying to think. I may actually have 29 published stories, but I have never climbed on top of that pile.
Ah,
You should
probably
try. You should
shouldn't.
try.
I was gonna say that's something you need to put in your to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never leave my TBR pile all in the same room because if it gets too tall, well, that's the end of that.
Mine might be taller than 29 stories at this point because my TBR is
Yeah.
growing and growing and growing. I don't look at
Mine is grows so much it's like behind me.
it. Do you have like a separate bookcase then just for your TBR?
Basically, yes.
Yeah, that's
Actually, I should say most of my bookcases um, probably contain TBR books.
Yeah.
I
And
don't want
now
to
the
put a damper on things.
and now the window. Now the window.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a damper on things, but what if JR's TBR pile is also Stanley?
Well, I'm not
Or
going.
also the government? Have we thought about that?
I like the way you're going, John. It just
Uh,
proves I am
So
everywhere. Or
so
Stanley
so
is
Oliver
everywhere.
has an inner TBR pile, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
okay, possible,
Yeah.
and very likely probable. Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
on plenty of mountains. It's my thing, but I am terrified of getting on a stepladder. So I don't know what that says about me.
It's about step ladders. You never knew your real ladder. I understand this.
Yeah.
Does that go with
I,
escalators too? Or do you have escalator fear or is it just step ladders?
No, escalators are kind of cool. If it's a machine, it's cool. And, a stepladder is just this thing that might kill you, might not kill you. You don't really know. If
So
I'm in an airplane, it's like a bit. I mean, it's like a mountain falling on me when I'm sitting in my living room. So it's not. It doesn't bug me as much.
I'm gonna so simple machines you're not a fan of, but
Standing in the air where I should not be without proper support. That's the thing. That my comfort zone is standing on a solid surface.
But you're
So
okay
standing on
climbing.
a
But you're
chair,
okay
I can
climbing
do
a
that.
mountain.
I can stand on a chair. I can't stand on a step ladder because it's not a chair. It's probably something very psychiatric. I don't know. I haven't had the blue pills yet.
But I'm saying
you
you,
should
but
ask your
you're, but you're
department
okay with
chair.
climbing a mountain though.
Yeah, I like mountains. Mountains talk to me, and I talk back sometimes.
I like them. I just don't like climbing them. I don't think any of the gear. Now, if they have like some kind of machine that can take me up the mountain, then I would probably be okay with it. As long as I'm
You mean like a
extremely
helicopter? I think they
helicopter
have
or
the
might
kind
be
of machine
yeah,
that could take you to the
helicopter,
top.
car
They
driving
have
you
cable
up
cars.
mountain
Yeah,
is okay. It's just scaling mountain or hiking mountain where I don't have anything to, one slip and there I go.
yeah.
One,
how
If,
about
if
move.
how
you
about
carry poles.
T-bar ski lifts? T-bar
I haven't
ski
been on a
lifts are
ski
kind of
lift in at
scary.
least 25 years, but ski lifts have never bugged me really. Zip
Really, even
lines
the
don't bug
T-bar
me because
thing,
I know how that works.
like even the T-bar ski lifts really scare me because basically you're sitting on a bar. There is nothing
I wouldn't
else.
like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just thinking I should have invited my friend Jamie, who used to run Tents and Trails in Manhattan, which was like the outfitting store that she had Sherpas working for her. I mean, she should be here to like conduct a therapy session, is what I'm thinking.
can always do that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might need it.
So when you guys aren't writing, what are you doing other than not mountain climbing? JR, what are you doing not mountain climbing?
I'm also a musician, so I play bass guitar and guitar, and I have some recording equipment here. I used to play in bands when I was younger, but I kind of got tired of the whole touring thing and dealing with other band members. So now I just kind of record by myself, or sometimes, it's so easy nowadays to send files to your friends and then they have their own studios. Everyone seems to have their own kind of little recording studio in their apartment or house at this point. So that kind of helps, like, just throwing things. So I do that on the side. Other than that, spending time with my wife and dog. We do a lot of walking around the city, going to art shows or, music, shows and things like that here in Chicago. So we're very active in those communities. I have a lot of friends that are painters and things like that. So I try to get out of the house when I'm not writing. I mean, the music stuff doesn't help, but when I'm not doing music or writing, like, I tend to try to get out of the house once in a while. Otherwise, I would just never leave. And my wife's like, "That's not good for you. You need to have a social life of some kind. Like, you need to speak to human beings." I was like, "Well, I do, just not very often."
Hi, we are actual human beings.
You guys are human beings, right?
To us. You
See,
fulfill part of your commitment.
This is why I go on podcasts. I can count that. Then I can count that as talking to human beings.
I'm a quasi human being.
Well, you're a composite. We've already established.
Yes, that's true.
I'm still back on the guy with the recording studio couldn't get the mic unmuted.
That that is always the problem. The musicians aren't really good with the equipment. We're just we just know how to play it, sort of. We're not even all that.
Okay. The guy with 40 plus years of tech experience couldn't get a URL to work. So what do I know?
So what about you, Oliver? What can't you get to work? I mean, what are your hobbies?
Yes. Well, I'll start off by saying, just because Stanley is everywhere, Stanley is not spending time with JR's wife and his dog that I know of. I basically something similar to JR without the music. I do have.
Wait. So you sit in recording studios and do nothing? Is that what you meant?
Sometime. I haven't done that in years, but I have done that. No, I do have an ongoing collaborative project where I ask people, JR, feel free to contact me if you're interested in this. I ask other artists to interpret my work in any way they would like. And so far that has produced a CD of poetry set to music, a poetry set to music show, and a Halloween card, and just this year, a spoken word and music piece and an instrumental piece. The instrumental piece was part of the album for James Chambers' new anthology.
Abandoned Asylums?
Abandoned Asylums, yes.
Very cool.
So John Lawson of Raw Dog Screaming Press, who's putting out the book, is also a musician. And he created, one of the perks of the Kickstarter was he created a soundtrack, an album for the book. And
music
I have
to read horror by.
There you go. And so he basically created an individual piece for each thing that's in the book. I have a poem that's going to be in the book. And so he created an instrumental piece based on my poem, which he wrote in an article for Horror DNA that piece was inspired by John Carpenter. Yep. So So basically, some of my time not is basically trying to get people to be part of this project. It's not a lot of time, so the rest of that time I spend doing things like JR. I go out and expose people to me. Um, I go to art things. I do a lot of open mics. So I go to those. I go to reading series. I go to different readings. Um, Sometimes art shows, music things. I have a lot of friends who are musicians. Um,
You're taking a lot of
uh,
advantage of the fact that you're in New York City where there's so much of that available.
exactly. So I say, if you're bored in New York City, you're not trying. Um, I'm sure the same may be said of Chicago, JR. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, and I have
uh,
a connection to New York because my wife's kids live in New York, so we actually go to New York City quite a bit.
ah,
Okay.
So we, she actually, my wife lived in New York City for I think 10 years before we were married. And she was married before, so her husband or ex-husband lives in New York City, and that's where the kids are at. So
hmm.
they're in the Queens area. So
Yeah. We'll have to work out coffee or something next time you guys are up.
yeah, we're definitely trying to plan a trip very soon. Hopefully within the next few months, because it's been a little while since I've been there, and I love going to New York City. So I love
Very cool.
going to the jazz clubs, and the bookstores and stuff over there. So it's just a great city.
If timing works out, there might be an event at Twisted Spine. There might be an event at
Yeah.
Shade Bar. There's all kinds of fun opportunities to be with your people while you're here.
There you go.
Very, very
All
cool.
the
Well,
Halloween people all the time.
yes. Since Oliver dragged us all the way over to writing almost immediately, we should do the writing thing.
We
So,
should. Sorry, that's basically.
Oliver, read a poem.
yeah. I'm a
Okay,
writer. By the way, I'm a
I'm really
writer. I'm
not.
also a writer. We got that. Yeah.
I'm really not sorry.
Yeah. So this is the same way that, what was it, 2 episodes back in Soul Scream, 2 issues back, you took over like half the magazine?
Yes. Okay, I had 4 pieces in it. It wasn't half. It was a lot. It was a number of pages, but yes, I had maybe a quarter, maybe a third.
So how about you favor us with a little bit of reading?
Me or me?
There's only one guy named Oliver here,
Okay,
at least this time.
right. All right, I'm gonna read uh, 2 poems, or maybe 3 poems. I have 5 minutes, so maybe 3 poems. The night owls in my head are throwing a house party, screeching and hooting to the sparkle grunge electricity of synaptic stars. Their wing flapping and claw scratching dance kicks up the spider dust of memories, uninvited ghosts reminding me of you. I was bewitched and bewildered, not bothered by being in the sidecar of our atheistic motorcycle ride through midnight city streets, never questioning the walls erected, no matter how wrong or weirdly angled. I just let you think like you did. Perhaps this is why we crashed. Or perhaps it was that damn cat, doomed to be disruptive to the traffic of wild things, wintering through the dread of day's end, burning through the heart of us, the only charm to calm the vampiric thrill. Rearview mirror thoughts will resurrect us. The party's spoiled. The owls come home to roost. And here is the second one. The world's crying again tonight, my child. It saw our holiday on the river of tears. The sky laid its neck bare. A stiletto sunset sliced its contents over julienne clouds. The big black curtain of night cut off our light. Diced phonics fell into your ear to reveal, I got knives. We ate our funnel cake in that carnival hallway between the river and the forest. The water pared you away from me, strips of shawarma floating ever onward. It was a jackknife evening. Options folded in on each other, Medea's choices locked in line. I walked back to the forest. The wailing trees ate away my grief. Darkness skewered me to the path of the next river. Awash in forgetfulness, I greeted my changeling. So slip into a switchblade sleep, my changeling child. Dream while the world is weeping. And this one, um, this one, just for JR and all you music lovers out there. This one is based on a famous song, which I'm sure you will figure out the songwriter for it. But it's my take. It's a Lovecraftian take on a famous song. Skeletal hands, they played the notes from a place that abandoned hope. Unbidden entrance to the attic church room found I. Unearthly chords he played at my behest. The third, the fifth, the root of the rest. An arpeggio of madness aligning the stars, illuminating the path to the end, blindly singing Hallelujah. Storm-spattered shutters slam inside, oil-slick suffocation space coats the walls. Untold stars float in on an ebon sea. There is something out there. Its hunger beckons. Vacuum words urging us onward. Dead syllables forming a hallelujah. Broken day greets my eyes. I must return from the stars, not the king I thought I was, without the dream I had of love, tied to the cold, bald truth of us. My tongue still forms sounds in vain. My lips move in the shape of your name, a reverberating song of emptiness through it all, echoing hallelujah. And that's all I got.
That's very cool.
Now, I know for a fact that's not all you've got. That's all you're sharing this one particular time.
Yes,
But
that is all I'm sharing now.
very, very nice. A lot of power in there, a lot of range to it. The thing I always love when I hear you read, Oliver, is the amount of tone to the way that you read. It never feels flat. It never feels like it's just words on a page. It always comes through, and I appreciate that about your work.
Yeah, I try to put a little bit more into it than just reading words.
No, I'm saying the page itself, not just the way that you present it, but both are true.
Oh, well, thank you. All right.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, I've
Also,
had the
your
privilege
first
of
piece.
reading with Oliver a couple of times. I'm sorry, John, I didn't mean to step on you.
No, it's okay. Your first piece reminds us why it's not a good idea to let the cat drive the motorcycle.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah. So, JR, let's hear a little bit of what you got for us.
All right. I'm going to read from my debut novel, Portraits of Decay. This is the first piece I wrote for this novel. It's about chapter 10. All you need to know is that the character Gemma is going to a witch to find a potion to put her boyfriend under a spell. This wasn't one of those crackpot voodoo shops in the French Quarter where they hawked tarot card readings and grease at $200 a pop. No, this place was nothing more than a rusted tin shack, blotched with mold, dropped on a square patch of centipede grass in the middle of the bayou. A pale light behind the mesh windows flickered with every crackle of a bug zapper. A gator skull opened its mammoth jaws above the front door, not so much a welcome as a warning. In the woods beyond, stringy gray hair of Spanish moss dangled from the trees, crawling with sugars. Somewhere in the darkness, a barred owl screeched like a woman giving birth to death. The Creole boatman steered the pirogue alongside a rickety dock, tied it to a post, climbed onto land, and offered Gemma his filthy clawed hand. He glowered at her, not so much as though he was seeing her, but instead looking at what breathed beneath her skin. No, thank you, Gemma said. Louise Vuitton purse slung over her shoulder, Gemma planted one foot on the dock, but as she lifted the other, the pirogue tilted and she lost her balance, flapping her arms as if she were treading water. The boatman hugged her narrow waist and heaved her ashore. Her skin trembled beneath his icy touch. It was as if every last drop of blood had been drained from his body. I'm fine. She smoothed the wrinkles of her cotton middy dress. She'd be lucky if the mosquitoes didn't eat her alive. The humidity had already frizzled her hair and dried her skin like a fried onion. She glanced around at the moss hanging from the deathly gray trees and the sludge floating on top of the water, and wondered what the hell a prim belle like herself was doing out in the steaming hell. They sloshed through the mire up to the hut, mud splashing Gemma's $600 ankle-high boots. The humidity breathed hot on her neck, and pearls of sweat slithered down her spine. With a handkerchief from her pocket, she dabbed her damp forehead. A pair of stripped lawnmowers, along with other bits of random rusted machinery, cluttered the patio that groaned beneath her footsteps. She had to be careful not to step on the nails poking out of the wood. She didn't come all this way to contract tetanus. The screen door creaked open, and out of the brightly lit interior floated a black woman with a cheveled body swathed in a checkered madras dress. The witch was nothing like what Gemma expected, but then again, she didn't know what to expect. For one thing, Merlande was young and beautiful, not a wrinkled old crone. Bushy hair bloomed around her full, round face. Her lashes fluttered like moth wings, and a Nubian nose perched above bee-stung lips. Colorful beads wrapped around her long neck, and the hem of her dress fluttered around her ankles. Merlande eyed Gemma as if she already knew everything about her. You gonna come by my house, child, or congregate with the mosquitoes? The witch didn't wait for a reply and glided back inside the house. The boatman nodded at Gemma as if to say, Move along. Despite its striking sparseness, the room felt claustrophobic, shadows reaching from the corners, forcing Gemma to tread a narrow path. A boom box on a milk crate played Caribbean rhythms across from a sofa patched together with various materials. Inside a wire cage, a parrot plucked its feathers, its bald spots matching the sofa. Not too I want to cry, Daddy, the bird squawked as Gemma passed, its beak broken into a jagged nub at the curve. I'll stop there.
Really nice
I could
scene
totally
setting.
listen to another 10 minutes of that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's, if you want the rest, buy the book.
Yeah. Please buy the
I can
book.
do that too.
So you
Add
said
it
the
to my own
magic word is
TBR pile.
debut novel. Do you have more stuff out yet?
So I have a short story collection called The Skeleton Closet that will be released hopefully October 31st from Darkness Publishing. There's some things that's going on with the art and editing that's taking a little bit longer than we had hoped, but hopefully that will be out then. And then my follow-up novel called Acascremia will be released next August by Crystal Lake Publishing.
Very, very cool. What about you, Oliver? I know you've got a bunch of stuff out and probably stuff coming.
I have stuff coming. Yeah, I have poems coming in. They'll be published in the next Soul Scream. This issue I did not take over. And I have, as I said, a poem in James Chambers' new anthology, Abandoned Asylums. And I guess the thing I forgot to say about what do you do when you're not writing is I freelance copy edit and proofread role playing game manuals. So at the end of last year, I finished the Adventure Time role-playing game manual. So supposedly that's coming out in the fall.
Very, very cool.
Very cool.
What about
So
you, John? What you got going?
I've got a short story coming out in, I want to say October, but Chris Ryan can set you straight on that. That'll be in the Soul Scream Anthazine that's coming up um, for the I want to call it his madness episode because
Yes,
that's
madness takes its
Madness Takes
toll.
Its Toll. There you go. So Oliver and I will be playing with that.
Me too.
I was about to say, what do you have? What do you have going on, Charles?
My short story, Tulma and the Spiral Hill, will be in that. I have another super secret project in the works right now. I just sent my, let me count it up, 8th Western out for raw publication. The final edits are done. The cover is done. The 9th one is at 18,000 words, needs to hit 30. They're all novellas. I have 7th Generation Arrival sitting with Nightmare Press, which will hopefully come out sometime between now and the end of March. And a few other little things, including something that's with Ruiden Books, and I'm really crossing all my fingers and toes on that. Yep.
You're with Rudon.
The funny thing is, the very first thing I ever sent Richard, he took immediately, and then successfully rejected the next 3 things I sent him, and I'm fine with that. I never want anything to go out that doesn't work for the publisher. But this one has JR knows because he was there at the moment at StokerCon. Richard and I conspired on how to make it something he'd buy. So we'll see if I actually succeeded in the assignment, and if I did, then something he'll buy. But the big thing for me right now is Shade Bar this Sunday. I'm going to be reading there. Oliver, are you reading that series too?
I am, but I'm not reading till August 9th, the week before the Stanley celebration.
Yep, very good. And then end of the month, I'm going to be at Otakon, which is an anime convention with about 40,000 people, and I'll be teaching creative writing, hopefully to a room of about 160 people in costume.
Awesome.
And in the middle of August, I will be in San Jose at MagFest West. I have to be very careful. There's no second A in there. MAGFEST. And I'll be teaching creative writing to a bunch of people who are games and music people. So those are my big exciting pieces of news. But the important thing to my mind with all this is that we're all making art because the world's on fire. And that's the single best response I can think of to the world being on fire. So go ahead.
I was going to say, I should add that I don't know when this is going to happen, but I did ask a bunch of people at StokerCon, who I know are also musicians, to be part of my collaborative project, and they said yes, but I still have not received anything from them other than them saying, yes, I really want to do that. Oh, right, I still have to get to that.
Yeah.
So that's where that is right now. So I don't know when and then I don't know what I'm going to do with all of those things.
Well, as a person who owes Lara Frater stuff on our collaboration and owes Eric Avicidian stuff on our collaboration, I completely understand how people sometimes get busy. But you're right, people should get back to you, and I need to get back to them. And by the way, tell Lara, thank you for the Mexican Coke. It's very good. For those of you who do not know, Mexican
got plenty
Coke,
more.
Yes, just means Coke with sugar. It does not actually mean anything else you might be thinking Mexican Coke means. There's no code words here.
Wow.
So any final thoughts anybody wants to add before we wrap it up for tonight?
I just want to say it was great meeting you all, and I'm glad that you guys are doing real art and not doing AI art, or as something that happened recently that I saw someone stealing other people's art and putting their name on it and trying to sell it to other people. So I'm just glad to be part of a community that's supporting people who are really putting their heart and souls into their work and are willing to put themselves out there, I think.
So well said. I think the single most bizarre AI thing that I've seen lately is an ad for a weight loss program where the person speaking is a computer generated AI showing before and after pictures of what that medication did for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
The truly horrific part of all this is that those AIs cranking out that stuff are actually more original and interesting than a bunch of people I know who are trying to do art on their own.
But at the same time, it's signal to noise and it kills the people who are doing good art.
Yeah.
And that's always the problem. You know, people are like, well, why do you care if you're good? It's because it's signal to noise. When you look at the marketplace and there's a million books out there and 1,000 of them are good books that are new, those 1,000 are never going to get seen. And that
right.
Yeah,
becomes the constant problem.
the trouble is the AIs are also controlling the algorithms that point you to the books that get the most engagement, not the books that are the best written. So
Yes.
we're on it's a wacky carousel and it never stops for anyone. You just
I
have
actually
to
did a
try not to get thrown off at the worst possible time.
Yeah, I actually did a study when I did my first Western. I started watching exactly where the book ranked, and it was very clear that the adjustments and changes could not possibly be based on sales.
Mm.
As the sample of
Uh,
data could not possibly support the wild swings that I saw from day to day. And I sat down and talked to people who were data scientists. They were basically like, well, either the sample size is tiny. I was like, no, it's not. This is Westerns on Amazon. They were like, okay, then the other possibility is it's not based on any statistics. It is completely their algorithm for what they think is going to sell next. It's a predictive algorithm, and that's exactly what it is. And this has become a big part of the problem. When you look at YouTube, when you look at Amazon, when you look at any of these mechanisms, they're all sitting there trying to get engagement for their platform and don't actually care about content or your enjoyment. They just want to link you to something it will make you not leave. And that becomes the problem, that the goal is addiction, the goal is not service, the goal is not quality, the goal is not good answers, the goal is dopamine hits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you actually read the specs on the current AIs, that's literally their design. Their design is dopamine hits. And this is the problem. You know, they are the slot machine. I'm sure the next pull is going to get me all sevens. And that's what it's become. But
So what you end up with is a lot of people getting those hits, buying 40, 50, 60 collections that are on sale because they're 99 cents, and none of them ever get read
yes,
because you just keep collecting those sales over and over again.
we,
I know
we
this happens because I do it.
yes,
My
but
Kindle is
but
full of stuff I will never read.
but we try to do this with stuff that's actually from people because we want to support people. You know,
Yeah.
That's
somebody once
also
said
true.
to me, "Well, why do you care?" And I was like, "Because when I pick up Shakespeare, I'm having a conversation with Shakespeare. Because every reading is a dialogue.
Hmm.
Mm.
The writer puts something on the page, the reader brings their own stuff. I talk about this often. I had this one reviewer who read one of my science fiction books, and they spoke to me privately after they reviewed it and said, "This is the hardest thing I ever read." And I said, "I'm sorry. What did I do wrong?" And they were like, "No, no, 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 no. Every time the main character disassembles the body of the AI and puts it back in the computer, I relive my sister's death by cancer."
Ouch.
Now, I didn't put that on the page, but
Mm.
that's what the reader brought to that dialogue. And she told me it was wonderfully cathartic. It was tremendously helpful. And I take zero credit for any of that. That was where her mind was. She was ready to have that catharsis. I happened to be what she was reading at the time and gave her a spot to feel that, but she was ready to feel that.
Mm.
So when I read, I'm connecting with an author. If I read something Oliver's written or John's written or JR's written, I'm connecting with you. Even if you're no longer here by 100 years, even if you're never going to know my thoughts on it, I want to connect with another human being. I want to feel something that's a genuine life experience of someone. And that's part of it. It's not the only reason, but it's part of the reason that this whole AI thing frustrates me. Because if I'm watching a video and it wasn't created by a person, I'm not experiencing somebody else's creation. I'm not communicating with them. I'm not having my side of the dialogue with a person. And I've studied AI for a long time. Technology is my day job. I've written real AI, not large language models, but real AI. And none of this bodes well.
Right, which is why I'm trying to go out more now, I think, to a lot of events and sell books at events, meet people that way, and have conversations with real people. And I think also people, when they buy your books, then they get a part of you in that sense too, because they've talked to you about your book, they've talked about you, seen you as a person. So which is really my goal of and I've done a lot this year, and through the end of the end of this year and then continuing on to next year is just to continue to go out to as many events as I can and talk with people and shake their hand and talk to them about books and whatever else they want to talk about, and just have these conversations, whether that's the people that are also there selling or if that's the audience that's coming to buy the books. I think there's, a lot of good that comes from that. Once again, being part of a community and getting away from sitting at a computer all day, which is what a lot of us do these, whether it's our job or not anymore at this point.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
We will talk some more soon.
Thank you.
And that's our show. If you are horror adjacent in books, comics, film, streaming, and want to be on the Horror Words podcast, email drownedrat@horrorwords.com. Good night.